In this video, we are going to learn how to create this cool animated menus. And in this video, I'm going to show you this 4, but actually have a lot more. So let's just check everything at once first. So first is this one where it hovers like this or opens like this. Second one comes from below. Third one scales up from bottom left. And this one just flips up. Then the second one, which will be in the next video, is this effect. Second one is this one, which keeps on rotating. The third one where it rotates once. The fourth one opens a full menu, and when you hover on it, it shows its own elements. And obviously you could add anything around here. It doesn't have to be same, but you could add any content or any widget around here. And the last one for this one is this bottom template. You could see it opens, and if I hover on it, it changes the text like this. And remember that not all of them are responsive. So these 4 are responsive, this is responsive, this is responsive, this also. This one is, but it only shows this much only. It does not show this content and this content, because obviously you cannot hover on a mobile device, and it's also like not good for UX. And this one also is not available on mobile devices and tablet devices, because you could see the submenu hover is like this. And also there is more, which is the full screen menus. If I click on it, it opens like this, and if I hover on it, it changes different images. And you could add anything here. It doesn't have to be just images, any widget around here. Let's close it. The next one is this one. So if I hover on it, you could just do this, and it's good if you have like lots of pages. Let's close it. And the last one is this one. And if you hover on certain element, it makes the rest of them look non-active like this. You could see. So it highlights this one by making rest of this non-active. Let's close it. And you could see there's like slight movement added to the background too. So this is the ones that I'm going to provide. It's going to be a paid template. So this is, and also you could like make it yourself if you don't want to pay it, but it's going to be like a paid template on my website, which is, if you go to /products, you could see, you could actually find lots of cool stuff on my website. Lots of them are majorly free, and there's also paid one, which are like premium versions. So in this video, we are going to learn how to do this 4, and then we will slowly learn each and every one of them. And make sure to watch till end, because you will need to know how you could actually add it to your own website. Okay, so let's start by adding a container like this, and inside of this, I'll actually add another container like this. So this would be our menu. I've also set this to box for time being. And then this one, I'm just going to call it as menu full, I guess. And then this would be given a CSS class of DM menu container 1. All links, all the classes and this text would be in the description or in my website, and it just makes it easier to put it on my website. Okay, so you would get the link in the description that would take to my website with all the codes and stuff. Once you have added this, we will actually type this one, which is minimum 320 pixels and 95%. Go into this one, click on this pen icon and paste it. And what this basically does is that it uses whichever value is the lowest. So minimum of 320 pixel or 95%. I think in most cases it would use 320 pixels, but I've still added 95%. Basically, if the screen gets too small and 95% is smaller than 320 pixel, it will use this. But I doubt this. You could just add 320 pixels, I think so. But just in case, I've added this code. In this container, I will add an icon. Okay. So make sure this is outside this menu full. This icon would be given as, I guess, bar. And you could add anything. You could add any button. You could add any like Lottie animations, any text that you have. Just use whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Go into pad a margin and do -10, because you could see Elementor adds this weird spacing. So I've added -10. I'll do end for time being. It doesn't really matter. We will give it a CSS class of DM menu icon 1 like this. And inside of this container menu full, let's just do some color for time being so that we can visualize it. You could even style it by giving 10 border, and then we will add our text inside of this one. So I'm just going to give it a black color, and you could just style it however you want. Okay, I'm just going to go quickly. So home, let's duplicate, 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 duplicate. This would be like about, this would be like team, this would be like support, I guess, and then this can be contact, like this. In this container, let's just give it 80 padding on top and 40 everywhere. This is your personal preference. Okay, the reason why we give 80 padding is, if you look at it, you could see the icon is around here, so we need more padding at top, so you could see, but it's your choice. You could give 80, 20, whatever you want. And inside of this we will add accordion like this. One important thing I forgot you guys to tell you. Okay, so one important thing is go into your dashboard, else it would not work in most cases. You need to go to Elementor Settings and make sure these two are ticked, which is disable default color and disable default fonts. What this basically does is, if you go to, let's say, a text, and if you have if you click on this one and do clear, it would automatically change it to primary. You could see in my case, if I do clear, nothing's happening, it's just showing this slash icon. But if you are using global settings by going to slide settings, you would notice that every time you do clear, rather than changing to this one, it changes to the primary color. And we don't want that. We want our code to control most of our stuff. So in that cases, you just clear it. And even if you are using global colors, no issues. You just have to manually select it rather than automatically getting selected. So make sure these two are tick mark. This is for fonts and this is for colors. You just have to manually select it, and it does nothing, no issue for you. And then if you go to features, you need to make sure that, let me search for it, nested elements is active. By default it should be active, but in case it's not active, just do active, else you would not find this widget, which is accordion. Okay, and you could see I just added that widget. I'm going to remove both of this and just call this services. Copy this one, paste it inside like this, and then we can call it like web dev or something. Okay, obviously style it better. We just are not going to do in this one, so that we could work on it quicker. On the title one, I think it's like 600, 500, something like this. Make sure you match it. I'm just going to like do it quicker. We want this to be at around here. We want the text to be on the right side, or it's your choice. What I've done on the right side. So let's just keep it right side. You could do like plus minus. I can just make sure to style it however you want. Okay, in the interaction we need to make sure all is collapsed. So by default everything should be closed, else every time you open it, one would be opened. Instead of this, we will remove the padding by making this 0. We will also remove the border. So by default it adds a border. We will make this to be none. And then our header, you could see we need to make sure the line height is like nicer. So make sure it works perfectly to your text, else that would be like more spacing. So I think this is okay, but obviously I would play more until it like works nicely. Now all this text we need to give it as DM menu list 1. So DM menu list 1, this accordion would be DM menu list 1, this one would be DM menu list 1, everything. Okay, and obviously if you want to add more sub menus like this, just make sure to duplicate it. Do not add it like this. Do not go in here and add more. We don't want that. We want to be completely different so that we can style it better or animate it better. Now everything has been done. Okay, let's do update. Now you could see that if I close this, everything's in my DM menu full. We have given all this. Now we have to give this position absolute, but it would not work perfectly. You could say it's going to the end. And because the way absolute works, position absolute, is that it takes whatever container it is and uses that as the bounding box. So if I, let's say, just add a container inside of this one like this, and then move everything inside. So if I move this one inside this one, and then move this one also inside this one like this, so everything's in one container, and this would be acting as the bounding box. So if I now give it as position absolute, make it go right, make our icon be at top like this, 999, something like this, and then give this one as 98, I guess. You could see now it just works nicely, even though we have given position absolute. Now all we simply need to do is go into our page, type HTML, and then add it after all our contents. You could add it anywhere. You could add it at the end of the page, anywhere you want. Just make sure it is after our contents. If you don't want to add it after your contents, you could use like Windows onload function, that you could just go in ChatGPT and type like, hey, run this code after my page loads, and ChatGPT would add like the Windows onload function for you. So that way you don't have to worry where you add it. But for in this one, the way I've made it, you have to add it at the bottom of all content. So let me just copy this code, which would be in the description, and you simply need to do is paste it in here. Let's do update and do preview. You would say it is actually here, but as I've set the text color to be white, let me just make the page color to be black. Okay, let's see. And you could see it works nicely. Obviously style it better so that it does not look this ugly. And this is where it works from going left to right. If you want to change the default color, you could change it around here. Okay, so DM menu icon 1, Elementor icon, change this to, let's say, red. So let's do red, and let's do red, and you could say it changes to red. And then this is the active one, which means when you have clicked on it, which color it should be. We can change this to anything else. So we can type blue, and we could type blue like this. Now if I do preview changes, you could see it changes to blue like this. The rest of it is GSAP, and basically I actually have like a whole 1 hour video on how GSAP works, but a quick explanation would be, let's see, so duration 0.5. So if you increase this, it would increase the time it takes to open this box. So if you want it faster, reduce it. If you want it slower, increase this number. So it takes 0.5 seconds to open. So you could say DM menu container 1 duration 0.5. It goes from scale 0 opacity 0 to scale 1 opacity 1. Then this is x minus 50. So if you change this to y, it would go from y minus 50 to y 0. This is for the text elements. So you could see when I click on it, it comes from left, right. So it comes from x minus 50, which is translate x minus 50 to 0. And then it comes like this, and then this is stagger. Basically, each element takes 0.1 seconds of difference to come in. So rather than come in together like this, it takes 0.1 seconds of difference. So if you want it to be faster, you could reduce it. If you want it to be slower, you could increase it. And this is the duration for each text coming from left to right. So it takes 0.25 seconds for the text to come from left to right. This is just the menu icon option or code. Now how to add the rest of it. Now adding the rest of it is pretty easy. If you have done all these steps, all you simply need to do is check the code, which would be on my website. Go in here, and then let's just replace it temporarily in the notepad. And here you could see, rather than using DM menu list 1, I've used 1a. DM menu container 1a. DM menu icon 1a. Like this. So if I just go in here and then type for my icon, I type 1a. To my menu full, I type 1a, and the rest of it should also be typed 1a. So I'm just going to quickly do it. And let me just copy this code and then add it. So now this one uses 1A code. Let's do preview changes and see, it came from bottom right now. And that's all you need to do for like the third one too, like this, and then fourth one too. This one is called 1B. You could see 1B, and this one is called 1C. So once you have actually created this setup, you just have to use the perfect code. Now, how can you add it to your page? Now, this is where it can get tricky, because based on how you have made your header, this can kind of mess it up. So let me quickly show you guys, okay? So I have this header that I've made. I'm just going to add it at the top. You don't really need to do it in this page. You can do it in your Elementor Pro's header builder, or if you don't have Elementor Pro, you could basically use the free plugin, which is like the Elementor's header and footer. And if you're using any theme, it can also work, as long as it allows you to do like add some content into it. For example, you just need to give it give any button in your Elementor header as, where is it, DM menu icon 1A, and then rest of it is just making sure the content that you make in Elementor gets placed at the right location in your header. Because all it takes is that this CSS class, which is DM menu icon, just give it to button, give it to text, give it to an icon, give it to Lottie animation, anything that you want. You just have to give this one, and rest of the element just need to be placed at the location where your header is. So let me just copy this at top. I'm just going to show it in a live page. Now, one thing to remember is that when you give your container a z index of, let's say, 9999, so that it's always on top, one issue happens is that you cannot give different z index to the children element. So if I, let's say, give this as 5 or give this as 2 and this one as 3, it would just not work. Why? Simply because the header, which is the parent header, this is parent, these are children, right? Because of this one, you could open navigator like this. You could see, even if you're given this 2 and 3, it would not work because it would use this header. So in some cases it might cause some issues, but in most cases it should work. So let's just quickly do it. Okay, so this is the page that we just created. I'm going to copy this icon and then just paste it. This is how the header I've made first of all. So header, left one, which is this container, and then right container like this. So in the right container, I'll add my my icon, make it in the center like this. And because this is the bounding box, we can simply just copy our menu full into our right box like this. And guess what? This is how it works perfectly. And then simply just add the code which we have added around here. And again, before you like skip this video, I just want to still show you something important, so do not skip it. Now you could see it just looks weird because this is HTML widget is taking this much space. So by default, you could just hide it like this. And obviously in the live page, it's HTML widget never shows, but in case it is showing, you could do advanced, responsive, and hide it all three. Okay, because the code would still run, it just would be hidden in case it's taking like 1 or 2 pixels. Let's do update and let's do preview. This is white in color, so it's not been visible like this. So it does work perfectly. Everything's working. But let's take a scenario. Okay, let's take a scenario where let's just make this something like this color. Okay, blue color. And this one is given as position fixed. You can see we have given position fixed so that it's sticky at top. And if I do give it z index of, let's say, 999, so that's always on top like this. Let's see what happens. So this is how it looks. Don't worry if it's not looking perfectly, it's because it is getting behind this one. As long as it works perfectly to the viewer, it doesn't matter because viewer is not going to see this top bar. Okay, so it is working, so I don't think we need to worry much about it, because in some cases it does not work in some of these templates because of the way the templates and the code works basically. Okay, now one more thing, if I want to move this a bit lower. So if I click on it, I want to move this a bit lower. I can just give it some height like this, so that it's below this one like this, and it just works perfectly. So I don't think we have any issues if even if we make this sticky. Okay, so we don't have any issues even if we make this sticky. The reason why I say that is because sometimes when you click on this icon might go behind this content and you would not be able to close it. But I think in this scenario, in this template, it is working. But in some menus, it might not work. So I'll explain it when that does not work, or why it does not work in those videos. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you want to get this as paid templates, all of this, it's in description. If you want to do it manually, then make sure to subscribe it, and the code would be in description. So yeah, thanks for watching.